over a year ago, did Terrorism 101, this piece, and he actually listens to the show. He's that smart. He was 10 then. He's 11 now. When he was 10 years old, he wrote this and shot it in 2 takes in the conference room here. People ask, why was he wearing a Guy Fawkes mask? Because, and I think it's reasonable, my wife doesn't want his face on TV, and Guy Fawkes was British, so he can do accents as well. But the issue isn't that it's my son doing the piece. I'm just letting you know who the person was who wrote and put out Terrorism 101 by the mini-me of Alex Jones. Here it is.
Hello, your friendly neighborhood patriot here for an episode of How Terrorism Really Works. First off, our terrorist group needs a scary name. Can you say Al-Qaeda? Let's try again. Al-Qaeda. Ah, it does roll off the tongue. Al-Qaeda. It's a perfect name. Now let's say the green piece here represents the terrorists. The terrorists then move into Pakistan or Afghanistan or whatever stan is not under banker control. The media then joins in to hype up the terror threat.
And operates with impunity from safe havens inside Pakistan. Conducting cross-border raids into Afghanistan and into Kabul.
Once the terror threat is established, the banksters puppets send in the troops to take out the terrorists they put in there in the first place. Then the bankers install their own dictator to take control of the resources and oppress the people. As a bonus, the banks, via the black ops and intelligence agencies, will then ship the drugs back into the host country so they can imprison their own citizens for using the drugs, make huge profits selling the drugs, which finance other terror operations around the globe, and the cherry on the top is billions upon billions made on money laundering operations for the bankers.
Sense you're watching as this opium is being grown. I know it grinds at your gut. How do you deal with it? What are you doing about it?
Well, frankly, this is a part of their culture. So while it might grind in my gut, it's what they do.
And if the citizens of the host country gets wise to these schemes or gets uppity, the banks via media will hype in nuclear terror threats, or an underwear bomber, or a Christmas tree bomber. Any excuse to take the American people's rights. Well, that just about wraps it up for Terrorism 101, How Terrorism Really Works. I'm your friendly neighborhood patriot. And now remember what Big Brother and other authoritarians say. Whatever you do, don't visit Infowars.com. Oh no, the control freaks don't like it. Oh.
You have done well, my apprentice. So that's my son a year ago, Terrorism 101. So this is Terrorism 101, 2014. And hopefully we'll take this live breakdown and re-airing of that video and repost it, maybe as an article tomorrow morning, going over Terrorism 101 so people can understand what's really happening. The next clip I want to play is Megyn Kelly telling Dick Cheney yesterday that he's been discredited on Iraq. I tell you, Fox keeps doing that. I'm going to become a fan of Fox News. They're also exposing that the government's shipping in the illegals, not just letting them be here, but aiding and abetting it. So that's now breaking on Fox as well. Let's go ahead and go to Megyn Kelly talking to old Dick Cheney.
Vice President, let me start with this. This is from one item in the Washington Post posted by Paul Waldman today. Quote, "There is not a single person in America who has been more wrong and more shamelessly dishonest on the topic of Iraq than Dick Cheney. And now as the cascade of misery and death and chaos he did so much to unleash rages anew, Mr. Cheney has the unadulterated gall to come before the country and tell us that it's all someone else's fault. The suggestion then is that you caused this mess, Mr. Vice President. What say you?"
Well, obviously, I disagree. I think we went into Iraq for very good reasons.
All right, look, everybody knows I was against the war and I didn't like Bush. But good job asking that real question and quoting that statement. That's good. But it's still Democrats and Republicans blaming each other as a distraction. Obama funded ISIS with NATO to take over Syria. Now they're doing this. That's the issue. Has nothing to do with Bush. So this he did it, they did it thing is a distraction.
Hey folks, this is Larry Crisp for BabyBoomerBackupPlan.com. I don't have to tell you, this economy sucks. Unlike the political elite and Wall Street bankers, you know that debts don't disappear and bailouts have big consequences. Stock and real estate market bubbles can pop at any moment and evaporate most or all of your retirement savings. Folks, we're in the weakest economy of our lifetime and it's likely to get much worse. Virtually zero sectors of the economy are hiring and workforce participation is at record lows. And I'm here to tell you, this may be the best thing that could happen to you if you move decidedly and develop a backup plan immediately. Proportionately more millionaires were created during the Great Depression than at any time in history, and history is about to repeat itself. Get my free report at BabyBoomerBackupPlan.com or call 888-507-8789. That's 888-507-8789.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his two-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
Get the most important package of information you'll ever receive in your life for only $10. The package includes 3 books and 7 DVD programs which cover biblical miracles and prophecy. The Shroud of Turin, The Third Secret of Fatima, What Really Happened to the Catholic Church, and more. Call 800-513-0029. That's 800-513-0029. Or go to VaticanCatholic.com. That's VaticanCatholic.com. 800-513-0029. VaticanCatholic.com.
You've talked about it for a while. Now it's time to get your family the emergency readiness pack it deserves. And there's one site to turn to, TopPackGear.com. From large to small, you'll find kits for every purpose, and all of them can be customized by you. TopPackGear.com offers the best pre-built packs the internet has to offer, assembled using only high-quality products vetted by pros and chosen for the best balance of quality and value. Prepare, endure, prevail with TopPackGear.com.
A couple hours ago, they announced Obama was going to give a press conference on Iraq.
Call him drunk.
At 12:30 Eastern. Well, that would have been almost an hour ago, because it's 1:24 Eastern. And I guess they do this to build up the suspense as if he's really running something, not the national security state, all the special interest. But I study geopolitics. I study that region. I have top experts on from around the world, whether it's General Hamid Gul, the former head of Pakistani intelligence, or Ray McGovern, the CIA morning briefer, to George Bush Sr. and Ronald Reagan, to folks like Colonel Schaefer that ran Stratus Ivy, the group that was not authorized to kill bin Laden, even though they were able to twice. I have a lot of sources, and I have sources in Israel. We had them on yesterday, high-level sources. And they say this is a triple, quadruple cross, Saudi Arabia going in alone, but that's only cover so that any outcome can be declared a victory by Obama and the globalists. The neocons are involved in this as well. Zbigniew Brzezinski's involved. The Wolfowitz doctrine and the Brzezinski doctrine are almost identical. There are two different power groups, but they intersect at many levels. Iran's involved, but the president of Iraq has said that they're double-crossing them as well and wanting to take about a third of the country as a new Shiite state. You've got a Sunni group that wants to create a new country out of part of Syria and western central Iraq. You got Saudi Arabia that said they want part of Iraq. You've got a lot of weirdness going on here, but it's a mess. But no one can deny that Stinger missiles and other IMPADs were given to these different jihadi groups, Sunni groups out of Saudi Arabia, and that Saudi Arabia is deeply involved in this. It is quite a spaghetti bucket to really try to figure out. But I think in the final equation, the establishment see, con artists and authoritarians think that full spectrum dominance, in my experience, is really sophisticated. The truth is, it always unravels. It's dishonorable. Corrupt, authoritarian brains always think their subterfuge is ensnaring everybody else, but in the end, it's the pit they fall into. That's my view. Short segment, long segment coming up. Peter Van Buren, WeMeantWell.com, is an author. Now he's a major whistleblower, 22-year veteran of the State Department, spent a lot of time in Iraq, was part of a lot of the major PSYOP operations there, and then he's gone public and currently works to represent a group working with Edward Snowden and trying to get his information out. And again, he resigned honorably because he was basically a conscientious objector and did not want to be involved in the immoral things he saw happening. We only got 3 minutes. I appreciate you coming on. Give me your bottom line take, and we're going to come back on what's going on. I just stated the bizarre gestalt. What's your expert take?
I absolutely agree with that. Many people in the United States imagine this all as a chess game where there's our side and their side, and we make a move and they make a move. In fact, it's completely chaotic. There are so many different players, so many different levels of war, that it's absolutely inconceivable that the United States intervention, whether it's 100 special forces or 10,000 regular troops, is going to make any significant difference other than to draw us back into the same quagmire I thought we walked out of 3 years ago.
Continue.
What we have in Iraq now is inevitable. It is the inevitable outcome of the 2003 invasion. In 1991, the first Gulf War, the first President Bush understood that he was resetting a balance of power in the Middle East. It was messy, it was uncomfortable, but it was in balance. And so after clearing the Iraqis out of Kuwait, the United States did not invade Iraq in 1991. And that was with the support of then Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney, who had his pre-Voldemort days. In 2003, the invasion of Iraq destroyed that balance of power. It ended civil society in Iraq, and it set loose the forces that had been kept on at least a dull simmer. Suddenly, Sunnis, Shias, Kurds were at the loose, and that brought in the wolves. The Iranians came in on the Shia side, the Saudis and the Kuwaitis went in on the Sunni side. The Kurds were settling scores with the Turks and with the Iranians, and the United States was bumbling in the middle of all this, trying to break up a fight with 5 pit bulls. If you stand in the middle of 5 pit bulls, there's a real good chance that you're not sure who's going to win, but you do know who's going to lose. And in this case, I'm afraid it was the United States who has made a terrible mistake by getting into Iraq and is continuing to dig that hole deeper by reinserting themselves into Iraq, as we understand President Obama plans to announce.
Man, I think Peter Van Buren is about the most articulate person we know on the subject of Iraq, I guess because he's been there in the middle of it. Amazing. I want to see where he thinks this is all going. Straight ahead, we're going to break it all down. Stay with us. I'm Alex Jones.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run.